How badly do you want it? And if you really want it that bad, then you are going to do absolutely everything to make sure that you get it. And the thing is, it's already promised. God has already promised these things to us. God has already promised to us a life of abundance, a life that is fruitful, a life of prosperity. The only thing that we need to do is show up. We need to show up, put in the work, and make sure that we are positioning ourselves to receive that. It's not just going to fall on our laps. It's not microwavable. It doesn't happen overnight. But it's a promise, and a promise is something that is guaranteed. As long as you have the faith, as long as you have the work ethic, the discipline, and you commit, it's guaranteed. Good afternoon. Hope everyone's doing good. I am on my way to I don't want to say a work function, but yeah, one of the hotels we work with is Southern Sun. They are hosting an event this afternoon where it's kind of like a networking event where they showcase the properties they have, updates to those properties, changes, and the relationship managers for each of them. And this is always, I think, a great event to go to, because honestly, that's where you network. That's where you network, and that's where you really get to know your clients, your vendors, and the services that they can offer you. And I think it's funny because this ties in well to what I was talking about in my previous video of showing up, and visibility. And these events, as even though some people might look at them as no biggie, no big deal, but these events or functions are really important. Are really important because the kind of relationship you have with these people makes or breaks the service that you receive for your own functions. The rates that you get, for example, the type of venue you get, um, the level at which they can accommodate the requests that you put in for your own functions. So I tend to take them very seriously because it really does make a difference to my employer, on the kind of relationship that I have with these type of service providers. So I had my hair done, and I really like the way it turned out. I have natural hair. I've been a natural girly for the longest of times. I really, am the type of person that I don't like to have to worry about maintenance. I'm already busy as it is. And I like to really make my life as easy as possible. So you'll see me in braids. If I have braids, I'll have them for a while. And a lot of times I am in braids, but in between I'll have moments where I try to give my hair a break, and this is one of those moments. So I'm giving my hair a break. I went to the salon yesterday, got it washed, and got it blow dried, and got it washed, got it blow dried, and straightened. And it's interesting because I came across this video on TikTok where a lady was talking about how these days the state of salons in South Africa is very dismal, and it's a conversation we need to have. Like, you go to the salon and the person that is supposed to be the expert in hair does not know how to do what you're asking them to do, right? And a lot of times you find even customers getting nervous about telling them how they should do their own hair, because they take it as if they're being told that they don't know how to do the job. No, I have a certain way that I like my hair done. I know my hair. So if I'm coming to you, it's because I'm expecting a treatment that is at the same level of how I do my hair or higher. And if throughout the experience I'm seeing that your efforts are not really matching, I should be comfortable enough to tell you. So it even got to a point for me where I would do my own hair. Well, if I'm going to the salon after having braids, I would remove the braids at home. I would wash my own hair, because something as basic as washing, it's so hard to find a person in the salon that can really wash your hair proper, where after you braid your hair, it's not itching, it's not dirty within a week. It's really rare. So I saved myself the stress, and I usually just wash my hair myself and then blow dry it at home. And then if I'm going to the salon, it's only for you to put hair food in my hair and start braiding. That's the system that I've put in place, because yeah, I feel like we can't be stressing over certain things anymore. Like, I'm at an age, honestly, where I just don't have the energy, the time, or the patience to be stressing about certain things. And if it's not working for me, I'm going to make it work for myself. I just arrived. This function is only from 1:30 to 3:30, just 2 hours. Not that I'm complaining. So let's go see what's inside.
To that particular conference. But the company has to have visibility. They must come to Johannesburg, and they must go to Polokwane because of the event, because of the conference. That's a captive. Center, make sure that you can look after multiple large-scale events. Also have airport convenience for whichever needs you have, again, whichever different budgets you have. We have hotels in that region. We also have Pretoria as a node, which is essential for government travel. And then we have destination venues like Riverside Sun, and as I mentioned earlier, Mount Grace. Riverside Sun, for example, I'll be getting married there in 4 months' time. So it just shows that it's a great venue for you to use. Stop it.
Over here is your dark chocolate, pistachio, and cacao cream chocolate.
So the event is done. That was a really good event. It was actually called Southern Sun Indaba. I'm forgetting one of the words, but yeah, it was actually really nice. All the GMs from their properties were there, from the properties across South Africa, across the region were there, and they were basically, like I said earlier, showcasing their properties, updating on what's been happening, what they're now focusing on, what their strategy moving forward is. So it's really insightful. And one of the nice things about these things also is that at the end they give rewards, or not rewards, but yeah, you can win a reward where they do a raffle and pick names and people get rewards, and they were offering quite a few night stays at some of their properties. And my colleague that was actually with me, she won a 2-night stay at bed and breakfast at any of their properties up to her. So it's really nice. Those are one of the things like this is one of the things I really enjoy about my job, the hospitality aspect of it. I think it's really important to put in the work early so that you can live a life of ease later. And I know it seems in the moment when you're putting in all of that work and you're not seeing the results, it can be very frustrating. You can really start to question whether you're on the right path or not. But I promise it is rewarding. You will absolutely reap the fruits at a later stage in your life. And I think what makes it even harder to make such decisions and commit to putting in the work early is that that's not it's not really glorified by society. It's not something that is favored by society, because the way society currently is, it shoves in our face that in your 20s you must just be, living your best life, having a good time, and YOLO, because you're young, and so yeah, there's this thing of pushing this narrative of living your best life when you're young. And yes, I absolutely think you should, if you're able to live your best life at any point in your life, right? But I also think that it's very important to establish yourself, establish a foundation for the type of life that you want, because it's not microwavable. It's not going to happen overnight, and no one's definitely going to give it to you on a silver platter. And I think that's what people sometimes tend to forget. Me, for example, my establishment happened a lot later in my life, because for most of my 20s I was very focused on laying the foundations, putting in the work. And it's not to say that I didn't have fun, I didn't have a good time. I had a really good time, I had fun. I had a best friend that we would act a fool with every once in a while, but at the same time we were putting in the work, right? I got married when I was 28, for example, a lot later. I had children much later, in my early 30s. And I started working in my mid 20s, because before that I was putting in the work. I was going to school, I went and I did my master's. I put in the work, I put in the years, so that later on in life I could live a life of ease. And I think, not I think, I know that the life I'm living now, even with the challenges it has, the opportunities I've had up to this point, all of them have been really great opportunities. My current job, my current role, the current place I work in is a really great place to be in, right? And all of that is because I put in the work years ago. Even one thing that I noticed similar with the executives that I've worked in, now they live really well, they make a lot of money. Yes, their job is not easy, it's very difficult, but they enjoy really good fruits out of it because they've put in the work. So I really think it's important, to not shy away from hardship sometimes. I know hardship can be exhausting, it can be tiring. You can look at your peers and friends and so on and see them elevating, see them moving forward, or things happening for them at a very young age. And that can, make you question yourself and your path. But I think it's really important to commit to it, to stick to it, especially if you have a plan in place, because the fruits will absolutely come. And when they come, they will be so sweet. They will be so sweet. So that's something I wanted to share, because there's also been um, this narrative lately on social media, and about aging, and how people, I don't want to say are scared of aging, but they're scared of losing time, they're scared of missing out. They're scared of FOMO, and they feel like the older you get, um the less exciting life becomes, so you might as well do everything. I can honestly say that my 30s has been the best decade of my life. Even with all the great things I did in my 20s, my 30s has absolutely been the best decade of my life. And I'm actually looking forward to my 40s. I'm actually looking forward to my 40s, because I see everything that I'm doing now, and I'm like, if this is what's happening for me now, I can only imagine what my 40s will be like. I can only imagine. So don't be afraid of putting in the work early, because you're positioning yourself for the life you desire when you put in the work early. And based on my personal experience, based on the people I've been exposed to, I can without a doubt say that it gets really sweet if you just commit from a very early age, and you stick to it, and you put your head down. You'll absolutely see the fruits. And one thing I want to add is that when you're in that place of putting in the work and really trying to show up for your goals and for the life you want, when you're really in the work of building that life that you want, I think it's very important to to be very intentional about the environment you place yourself in, and the things that you expose yourself to, and the people that you expose yourself to, because that is what will encourage you to stick to that journey. Because anything outside of what anything that does not align with what you are trying to do, what you're trying to build, is only a distraction. It's only a distraction. So when you're in that process of putting in the work, surround yourself with people, friends, who are just as focused, They don't have to be, having the exact same goals as you, but the ambition is there. When you are together, you're not talking about random stuff. You're talking about serious things. You're talking about building, you're talking about growth. And I'm not saying 100% of your conversations should be that, but the bulk of it should at least be that, right? Put yourself in environments like today, networking environments. It's just like that thing we spoke about. I once mentioned in one of my videos about how even driving through nice neighborhoods when you're going to work, intentional about the neighborhoods you drive through, the routes you use, surrounding yourself with that is very encouraging and motivating to keep going, to keep pushing, no matter how difficult or how hard it can be. I think that's really important, because when you don't have that, like I say, you get distracted, you get demotivated, and it's really easy to fall off. It's really easy to fall off. And one thing I always say to myself, um, whenever things get tough, whenever I'm not feeling up to the work, whenever I'm not feeling motivated, and whenever I start questioning my efforts and questioning life, and one thing I always ask myself is, Mila, how badly do you want it? How badly do you want it? And if you really want it that bad, then you are going to do absolutely everything to make sure that you get it. And the thing is, it's already promised. God has already promised these things to us. God has already promised to us a life of abundance, a life that is fruitful, a life of prosperity. The only thing that we need to do is show up. We need to show up, put in the work, and make sure that we are positioning ourselves to receive that. It's not just going to fall on our laps. It's not microwavable. It doesn't happen overnight. But it's a promise, and a promise is something that is guaranteed. As long as you have the faith, as long as you have the work ethic, the discipline, and you commit, it's guaranteed. I really hope it's encouraging to someone. Again, thank you so much for all the support that you guys keep showing me. My last video, I think, is now sitting at just over 200 views. And for me, that's so exciting. When my videos hit 100 views, already I'm so excited, because in my mind it's like, if you were to walk in a room of 100 people, that would be intimidating, because 100 people in a room is a lot of people. So I'm not going to diminish that milestone. So thank you so much. I'm so encouraged. Please let me know what you want to see more of. Like I mentioned before, I do plan on doing more sit-down videos where I talk in depth about certain topics, like maybe interviewing your CV, specific fields like mine, how you can get into them and stuff like that. I think that would be really helpful to someone. So it's always a good and great time being with you guys here. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.